With the release of Season 5, 343 finally added campaign AI to use in Infinite's Forge mode, which has led to the creation of a ton of really fun firefight maps, but also quite a few custom campaign missions, which will of course be the focus of today's video as we talk about 3 that I've played that I've really enjoyed, and that I also think you should probably check out too. But before we do begin, if there is any campaign experience type maps that you've played that you think deserve some form of spotlight, then let me know down in the comments and I'll make sure to check them out. But anyway, without wasting any more of your time, let's jump straight in. Now the first of these you've probably already seen, and that is Inclemency by Madman Epic. It's set in a frigid wasteland where your task is to take down a banished excavation site. Overall it feels pretty scenic with some pretty nice razorback driving segments, broken up with some fun combat encounters. The map visually looks absolutely gorgeous and they've used the effects and the new banished PCs really well. Once you make it to the main excavation site, you'll fight your way through some banished troops that occupy it, and then have a little firefight experience at the end before finishing the level off. Overall, I think this is one of the easier ones, which is by no means an insult. That just means that you can enjoy this one alone without needing to rely on having other players. It still has a level of difficulty, of course. I'm not trying to claim that this is super easy by any means necessary, but it does give you plenty of room to breathe, which is something that I very much appreciate. Our next map is Assault, Banished Water Treatment by Amethyst 63657. Unlike the last one, this throws you straight into action, as you're tasked with taking down yet another banished operation. It makes great use of the new Barrage Forge canvas, and players in order to progress need to capture different zones that are being defended by the banished. Overall, I'd argue this one is much more difficult as it's in a much more enclosed space. So if you're looking for a challenging map, this is definitely a good option, especially if you plan on tackling it alone. After capturing all the points, you have a little boss wave against a ton of banished forces that are dropped in by phantoms. But don't worry, as you are resupplied with various power weapons and even vehicles such as the Scorpion or the Wasp. Overall, it's definitely another very fun map that I highly recommend you try out. And finally, we have Campaign Wasteland Ambush by Chrissy James. This is definitely one of the longer levels I've played, and it feels action-packed throughout the whole experience. At the beginning, you fight off a banished ambush with the very minimal ammo supply you're given. As you progress through, you fight off various different banished encounters with a ton of different weapons or vehicles, so no 2 encounters feel exactly the same. There's even a boss fight against Agilent Resolution, and at the end you meet up with a group of marines which you then defend from another ambush, as waves of banished are dropped in, again with phantoms. Once more, this is another really fun campaign experience that again I can't recommend enough. All 3 of the ones that I've mentioned today all feel distinct enough, so there's no repetitiveness here across them. And I just think it's super impressive to see forgers knock out these campaign-like missions so quickly. Anyway, that wraps up everything for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.